Private jet booking is where the decision becomes real. Before this point, everything is conversation. Routes, aircraft, prices, options, schedules. But when you say yes, you are no longer browsing. You are approving a plan, and if you approve a weak plan, the problem is now yours. If you want private jet charter explained like a serious buyer briefing, subscribe to JetMaster. This channel is for people who want clarity before they compare quotes, trust options, or book private aviation. In a moment, I'm going to show you the 7 questions to ask before you say yes to a private jet booking, not after. Before, because the wrong time to discover missing details is after the aircraft is confirmed, the payment is moving, and your trip depends on assumptions nobody explained clearly. Let's be blunt. A private jet booking is not just buying a comfortable flight. It is approving an operational plan. That plan includes the aircraft, the operator, the crew, the crew, the airports, the site the schedule, the passenger details, the luggage, the terms, the backup communication, and the parts of the trip that may still change. A casual buyer asks, "Can we book it?" A serious buyer asks, "What exactly am I approving?" That is the difference. So let's walk through the 7 questions. Question 1. What exactly am I approving? This sounds basic. It is not. Before you say yes, make sure the final option is clear. Not generally clear. Precisely clear. You should know the aircraft type. The operator, if available at that stage. The departure airport. The arrival airport. The departure time. The estimated flight time. The passenger count. The luggage assumptions. The route structure. The total quoted price, and the payment or confirmation requirement. Do not approve a vague idea. Approve a defined charter option. If someone says, "We have a great jet available," that is not enough. Which jet? For which route? At which time? Under which assumptions? With what included? A confident summary is not the same as a complete booking picture. Before you say yes, ask for the booking details in writing. Clean, readable. Specific. If the details are scattered across messages, slow down and confirm them. This is not being difficult. This is avoiding confusion. Question 2. Who is operating the flight? This matters. JetMaster is not the aircraft operator. Villiers helps connect charter buyers with private jet charter options, but the actual flight is operated by an aviation operator. That operator is central to the booking. So, before you approve the flight, understand who is responsible for operating it. Ask, who is the operator? Can the operator identity be confirmed? Is the flight being handled under the proper charter structure? Are there any operator-specific details I should understand? You do not need to turn into an aviation lawyer, but you should not book private aviation while being unclear about who is actually operating the aircraft. The aircraft name alone is not enough. A cabin photo is not enough. A low price is not enough. You are trusting an operation, so identify the operation. Question 3. What aircraft and airports are actually locked in? This is where people get caught. They discuss one aircraft. They assume one airport. They remember one departure time. Then the final booking details are slightly different. Sometimes that is fine. Sometimes it changes the trip. Before saying yes, confirm the exact aircraft category or aircraft type being booked. Confirm the departure airport. Confirm the arrival airport. Confirm the private terminal or FBO if available. Confirm whether the quote assumes a specific aircraft or an equivalent aircraft. That word matters. Equivalent. Sometimes an aircraft substitution is normal under the terms, but you need to understand what substitution means. Equivalent by size, equivalent by category, equivalent by safety and operating standard, equivalent by cabin experience. Do not leave that vague. The same goes for airports. If you discussed one airport, make sure the booking reflects that airport. If another airport is being used, understand why. Maybe it improves the trip. Maybe it improves availability. Maybe it affects costs. Maybe it changes ground time. The point is simple. Do not discover the real airport after you say yes. Question 4. What can still change? This is one of the smartest questions you can ask. Private aviation gives control. It does not give fantasy. Aircraft can change. Weather can change. Crew planning can change. Airport conditions can change. Schedule details can move. Maintenance can affect availability. Operational decisions can happen for legitimate reasons. The issue is not whether change is possible. The issue is whether you understand the change risk before booking. Ask, What parts of this option are confirmed? What parts could still change? Could the aircraft be substituted? Could the departure time move? Could the airport change? What happens if weather affects the plan? What happens if the aircraft becomes unavailable? What would I be told and when? That last part matters. Communication is part of the product. A buyer should not be left guessing if something moves. A strong booking process explains the likely variables. A weak one hides behind optimism. Optimism is not a plan. Question 5. What is included and what is excluded? Do not approve a number without knowing what the number means. A private jet charter quote may include many things, but do not assume every possible cost is included unless it is clearly stated. Ask about taxes, landing fees, handling fees, crew expenses, overnight costs, de-icing, catering, Wi-Fi, ground transport, international fees if relevant, pet fees if relevant, special requests, and any other trip-specific charges that could appear. Some fees may be normal, some may be small, some may be route dependent. Some may be impossible to know perfectly in advance. That is not the problem. The problem is surprise. A serious buyer does not demand fake certainty. A serious buyer asks for clear boundaries. What is included? What is estimated? What is optional? What could change? What would create an additional charge? This protects the relationship. It protects the buyer, and it keeps the booking from becoming a guessing game. Question 6. What is the cancellation or change policy? This is not the fun part. It is also not optional. Before you say yes, understand the cancellation terms. Understand payment timing. Understand refundability. Understand what happens if you change the schedule. Understand what happens if the passenger count changes. Understand what happens if the route changes. Understand what happens if the aircraft or operator has to change. Understand what happens if weather affects the flight. This matters because private jet charter is not a casual restaurant reservation. Aircraft, crew, positioning, and schedule commitments are involved. If your plans are still uncertain, say that before booking. If the trip is firm, say that too. If you may need to move the departure time, ask how that works. If you may need to add passengers, ask before assuming. If luggage may change, ask early. The worst booking behavior is pretending everything is final when it is not. That creates friction later. Be clear up front. Clarity is cheaper than cleanup. Question 7. Who do I contact if something moves? This question sounds simple. It is powerful. Before the booking is complete, know or is the azit, know who your point of contact is. Who confirms updates? Who handles schedule adjustments? Who communicates aircraft or crew changes? Who helps if passengers are delayed? Who confirms FBO details? Who sends the final itinerary? Who should your assistant, spouse, colleague, or travel coordinator contact? Private aviation often involves time-sensitive communication. If something moves, you do not want to search through old messages and wonder who owns the issue. You want a clear contact path. Ask, who is my main contact before departure? How will updates be communicated? When should I expect final details? What should passengers bring? Where exactly should they arrive? How early should they arrive? Who handles day-of-flight questions? This is not minor. A great aircraft with poor communication can still create a bad experience. Now let's put the 7 questions together. Before you say yes to a private jet booking, ask 1. What exactly am I approving? 2. Who operates the flight? Circle inastru DSD and for 3. What aircraft and airports are locked in? 4. What can still change? 5. What is included and what is excluded? 6. What is the cancellation or change policy? 7. Who do I contact if something moves? That is the booking filter. It is not complicated, but most people skip it because they get excited by the aircraft, the price, or the speed of the process. That is how mistakes happen. The final decision should feel calm, not rushed, not vague, not pressured, calm. You should be able to look at the option and understand the trip, the aircraft, the operator, the airports, the timing, the terms, the costs, the change risk, the communication path. If those pieces are clear, you can make a serious decision. If they are not clear, do not pretend they are. Ask, clarify, then decide. Private jet charter is supposed to give you more control, but control starts before departure. It starts at the moment you decide what kind of option you are willing to trust. That is the whole point of this series. Do not chase the cheapest number. Do not chase the flashiest aircraft photo. Do not assume the closest airport is always best. Do not assume the largest jet is automatically smarter. Do not treat an empty leg like normal charter. Do not confuse a quote with a complete plan. And do not say yes until the important questions have real answers. If you want the full structure in order, the free 10-day JetMaster private jet charter course is linked in the description and pinned comment. Think of it as a private charter preparation sequence. Each day gives you one clear decision area, so you can request options with better information and less confusion. Use it before your next quote conversation. It is there to help you think clearly before the booking moment arrives. This is the final video in this JetMaster Trust sequence. From here, the next step is simple. Go through the free course. Prepare your route, timing, passengers, luggage, airport preferences, and booking questions. Then compare charter options with a sharper eye, because private aviation is not about pretending every trip needs a jet. It is about knowing when charter makes sense and how to book it without looking amateur. And don't forget, your JetMaster journey starts now.